Hey, welcome everybody to the Film Threat Livecast. I'm Alan Ng, editor-in-chief of Film Threat. Want to welcome you here all today. I'm in Las Vegas right now. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm so tired. Had great meetups this week, starting Tuesday with the Film Threat meetup. Got to meet a lot of you guys. It's I said it before on Wednesday. It was just great to finally put faces to chats. And then we had the last two nights of the F&T meetup, and again, met more of you guys. And again, welcome. We got a big show today. I'm at Vegas, CinemaCon. We have Civil War to talk about. We may even get to another review. Let's get this show started. There's a video here I got to play that I can't find. Let's get it started. All right, hey, where's Chris? Where's Chris? I'll tell you where Chris is. We've got Chris right here. Hey, Brown Chris. Brown Chris.
Jesus.
Yeah. So
hey, one. wait, hold on. Let me do Chris. Brown Chris.
Okay. All right.
Hey, what's up? Okay, that's my Chris Gore.
All right. So Paulie is with me today from Latino Slant. Thanks for being here. So
yeah, man.
You may or may not have heard Chris is not feeling well. If you watch the Wednesday show, you'll see that he was having a few problems and wound up realizing that it wasn't getting better, and so we're still in Vegas, and he's recuperating. He's getting some much needed rest, and I'm being fairly vague. So many people know what actually happened. Chris asked me not to exactly get specific because I think he wants to say it himself. So let's just say that I will be hosting for the next week. Chris won't be here, but we'll have an amazing panel. And it's kind of like what he says. Yeah, it's time to step into your power. So that's that's exactly what Chris said. So
right.
Keep your thoughts and prayers for Chris. He will be back. He had an issue, and he is doing fine. Nothing life threatening, and he should be back in a minimum of a week, if not 2 weeks. So nothing to worry about it. But again, thoughts and prayers greatly appreciated. So hey, Paulie, how you doing?
I was fine until you threw that news at me right now.
Did you not know? Did I not tell?
No, you didn't tell me that. I just figured he's just hung over in some Vegas strip joint or low end hotel room out in the outskirts, being Frank Gore. But
I just assume you know everything.
No, I don't. I don't. Especially the last couple of weeks, because I went on a vacation, and then I just detached from everything, and so just kind of getting back up into it. But I hope he's okay. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, he's okay. It was he was very lucky, and things are going good for him. So we're all
I'll reach out
heading
to him
back to. Yeah, absolutely. And we're heading home today. So let's see. So we got this show may not go as long as we normally think or normally will, but we do have stuff to cover. And the big thing is why we're in Vegas and CinemaCon. I went for the first time yesterday, and Paulie, but you have been covering it all week. Yeah. And just want to get your impressions of it. Let's talk about it generally first. I got to go Wednesday to kind of go through the exhibit hall, and then yesterday I got to go to the Disney panel, which we'll talk about. But CinemaCon, for those of you who don't know, it's a trade show convention for theater owners, and it's a big deal because you go to the trade shows, go to the exhibit hall, and there's popcorn vendors, there's concession vendors in one hall, and the other hall there's it's about seats, chairs, lights, sound, and cameras. Yeah, and then they have presentations meant for theater owners to get the studios come out, get the theater owners excited about what films are coming out in the year, so that they'll show them. And that's kind of what's going on here. But you've been covering it. What's been your impressions?
Well, it's our first year covering it, and Rosa Para, our writer, was there in the trenches the entire week, which is her first time as well. And they really cover a lot of ground, from what you said to international box office, international movies. I know they started the week off with how was 2023. And then you go into the studio presentations, Angel Studios, Lionsgate, Universal, and there was things that Rosa was very into. She's very fair-minded, as far as her film critic, and some things that she wasn't into. And of course, everything culminated with the Disney presentation yesterday, kind of coinciding with them, trying to throw more shade at Gina Carano yesterday, with them trying to dismiss, get the case
her lawsuit.
Yeah, her lawsuit dismissed. So, her highlights as far as the films that she, the new footage or the new things that she saw, we were talking about, was everything from Gladiator 2 to Furiosa, Inside Out, Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I think, did she have Wicked on there? I think she had Wicked on there.
She's Wicked's number 4. I think with Inside Out and Wicked, she expected those to be in her top 5. She did not expect to be engaged with Gladiator or Furiosa so much. So, they showed 5 minutes of footage, and you got to see Paul Mescal and Pedro Pascal go at it with each other. Denzel's character kind of being that guy behind the scenes, trying to manipulate Paul's character. It sounds great. It sounds great. It's just odd that it's a Gladiator 2. But if Ridley can capture some of that old school spirit, it might be successful. And did you get to see it?
I didn't get to see it. No, I only went to the Disney one. And speaking of Ridley Scott, it's like, yeah, we got to see some extended footage of Aliens, Romulus. And that looks interesting. We'll talk a bit about that later. I mean, I have definitely some things to say about Disney, and I want to thank them for not kicking me out.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I do want to say one thing too. We were following the rules of what CinemaCon was laying on us with their emails and everything all week long, as far as a Latino Slant coverage. No leaks, no photos, all that stuff. And we noticed that other bigger access media, whoever they are, they weren't following the rules, and they were spilling beans and all that garbage, which got us a little miffed. It's like, it's our first time, and we're doing some excellent coverage, giving our honest opinions, but it's just like, we're not spilling any beans, or definitely not recording stuff or taking photos, and it's just like, what the hell? Yeah. So last night on our last night of coverage, because we were live every night, Rosa, we did divulge a little bit more. Yeah. Even with what I just told you with Gladiator 2, was like, we gave you, that's like, supposedly,
Yeah, because the impression I got was this whole convention is a studio hype train. It's I think a lot of the excitement is what they give you, and a lot of times what they give you is the best of what has currently been shot. And obviously they're not gonna be exactly the most authentic in terms of, yeah, we think we hit it out of the park here, or this one fell short of our expectations. This is all that hype. And it's what's interesting is I went to one luncheon and got to sit with some theater owners, and they're feeling it. I mean, I think they struggle between being positive and facing the reality of the situation. Is that movies? It's been a tough year. This last year, 2023, was very difficult for theaters, especially with the strike. And I think this year it's going to be equally difficult. And I don't know, did Rosa have any say anything about at least the business?
Early on, like that first day, a little bit. But yeah, we just started getting into all the obviously all the all the release announcements.
Yeah.
But I think I think that Monday we were talking about it in regards to, well, look at the box office that's currently out, and you're seeing so many different independent small studios make having their releases out. There's a little bit of something for everybody. I think that's very healthy. But you do need those big tent event
Right.
movies, Godzilla's and all that stuff.
Yeah, the things that drive people in. Yeah, like the luncheon I went to was sponsored by Fathom Events, and
there you go. Yeah,
and what's interesting is it's these small indie studio or distributors, studios that seem to have a better handle and are more appreciative by the theater owners than the big studios. I mentioned Fathom Events because last year Fathom Events had their record year. They made the most money in 2023 than they have made in their entire existence. I think they've been around for 20-25 years.
Well, yeah, it was, and they were, but they were always kind of had that like that weirdo programming, like opera or
yeah.
But I think they started last few years, just really started breaking ground and getting like the David Bowie, the Queen, and then the movies, the retro movies, to where Chris Gore was. You hear him talking about Fathom Events all this whole past year. Well,
yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, my daughter and I, we went down the list of Fathom Event movies this year, and we pegged a few. I mean, we're going to see the Muppet movie when it comes out.
Nice.
Blazing Saddles is coming out.
Nice.
Some of the Studio Ghibli movies we're looking forward to. And we're paying full price. Those aren't involved, in your A-list plans.
The Crunchyroll anime presentation was incredible, and there is God, what's the big one that's coming out? Code White. I have it here. Give me a second. And then I sent you information on the Nosferatu presentation.
Okay, from Robert Eggers.
Yeah, but in regards to that anime presentation that Crunchyroll did with Sony, Rosa had put down that this has been a global phenomenon, and this is very smart of what Sony is doing. The big film is Spy Family, Code White. That
Spy Family. Okay, yeah,
that's being released next week. They got to see 10 minutes. And she's a complete normie when it comes to anime, as am I. But she loved those 10 minutes, what she saw.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that, and she, there was Overlord, there was Blue Jack, the dumpster battle. It was a big success for anime, but we're not really surprised, right? We're not really surprised. It's kind of what you guys have been talking about for years now.
So let me ask you, because I do want to get into the Disney panel, but overall, was Rosa optimistic about what's coming out this year, or did she feel like, this was all hype?
God, you'd have to ask her. I think that where I definitely, from The Crow, she wasn't really motivated after seeing, she was like a little more curious. There's definitely things that she was kind of like, they're going to be a letdown, in her opinion. And we really didn't talk about how they hyped it. The only thing we mentioned was how that's not true, right? The Gladiator presentation was kind of silly, whereas the footage was awesome. They're in Caesar's Palace in Vegas, so they brought in 30 gladiators, 30 Roman soldiers. So that was I think she's we really didn't. I know her and Fletcher before we go and get it. I don't want to get into the Disney one. I'm trying to think, any of the hype. She didn't take the goodie bag. And she didn't take the designer Coca-Colas.
Oh, I did.
We did make fun of the free breakfast in the morning because she wanted chilaquiles. She wanted something like a real breakfast.
Has she never been to a convention before?
I know. It's like, hey, listen, it's free. I know it's bland, but if you want some chilaquiles, you just gotta have to get in your car and go find some. Which is pretty funny. Exactly, it's convention food. But her hype filter is pretty good. So
okay,
all
right. Yeah. Well, let's do some comments, some chats. Like I said, I'm gonna skip the Civil War stuff until we get there. So Chris Gore, I don't know who that is. Alan, tell everyone about Disney at CinemaCon. We will. The D for $10. Thanks. Thanks for the support there. Even if half of the stuff on Film Industry Watch is accurate, it's totally insane. Thanks for the recommendation. Hope Chris feels better. All right. JBTR.
I didn't get that one. Industry
Watch. Film Industry Watch. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff coming out. I go on Twitter and it's just note after note about what's happening at CinemaCon.
Right.
Someone I'm not going to mention, very hyped about everything. And part of me is like, that's why I keep mentioning it's hype. They're being cheerleaders right now. And it's you've got to wade through that. And Disney is one of those. Disney will be one of those examples of they're trying real hard to make theater owners. Theater owners feeling positive about Disney this year compared to last year, and we will definitely get into that because I just found it fascinating the way Kevin Feige and the rest of the gang at Disney were talking.
Okay.
Let me see. JPTRX. Film Threat went full DEI. Yes, that's right. We finally got rid of the white guy.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that, Chris. It might be in my heart. I might think it, but I didn't say.
All right. I got to start unstarring these things since I tell Chris to do that all the time. The nerd far away.
It's a trip when you're working stuff and hosting, right?
I know. I'm not gonna go as far as to say now I empathize with what Chris has been going through. I'm not gonna say that.
No, because then you'd ruin your magic with each other.
I know.
Can't be doing that. You guys have a certain magic, a certain thing that you guys have found. You don't want to mess that up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'll just say this is easy. This is easy. I mean,
this is great.
Clearly, banners going up late, things like that. I got it down. Nerd far away. Getting anyone excited about upcoming movies will be a challenge in Hollywood. I'm way more interested in independent films, new studios, not in California. Yeah. I mean, again, it's the indies that, from what I've talked to with the theater owners, they're more excited about the indie stuff than they are about the studio. I think, you know, they felt the burn for the last few years, and I don't know that they feel like this is going to be a recovery year. I didn't get a sense that at all that the industry is going to recover, at least big Hollywood. Okay.
Yeah, let me tell you something. You know, Hollywood loves to buy good independent films that are already made. You know, so then they can, you know, take a victory lap, you know, and that kind of stuff. But, you know, even independent films have challenges. And I give you a little insight. My girlfriend is an actor, and so she's cast in a new independent film, and they're filming in Louisiana end of the month. They almost didn't cast her because it just, not because of her talent, just because to cast locally in Louisiana, as opposed to flying someone in from California, is more cost effective. I mean, they're always looking, even in independent, they're always looking to cut corners, forget the studios, but the director wanted Romy, and you know, that's a good story. And then there's a film that an independent film she's in right now. It's a comedy, which is getting a lot of steam at several film festivals. So it's a hustle, man. And you know, so really support independent films. You can do that by, you know, checking out local film festivals.
Absolutely, and going to the local art house. I think, you know, you and I happen to be in a very large market, and so, you know, the large AMC, even the AMC is showing independent films, and again, you know, like Angel Studios, I got the sense that they're coming out swinging next year or this year.
We can talk about Angel Studios presentation because I got that in my head fresh.
Okay. Yeah, but let's do that. But before we do, want to thank the over 400 people watching us on YouTube. And either the 50 on Rumble or the 500 on Rumble, whichever one that is.
Yeah, you don't have that number?
I don't have that number, but here we go. Where are we at? 224 on Rumble. Hey, make sure to hit that like button.
What's up, Rumble?
Hit the like button, follow. Thumbs up, blah, blah, blah. Lick that like button. But thanks. Appreciate you all being here. Quickly go over Angel Studios. I'm curious.
Well, you know, so they had their presentation earlier in the week, and they had films that are coming out, Sight, Possum Trot, and Homestead this year. Okay, with each one, they're each coming out on specific holidays. So they're continuing that. Remember, Sound of Freedom, 4th of July. Cabrini, which I highly recommend, International Women's Day, it came out. So they're going to continue that because they are setting themselves up as that family-friendly, you know, to a little more thought-provoking, but definitely, you know, the whole family can see something together type of quality content. And you see that with Sighted, you see that with Possum Trot. Possum Trot is the continuation of Sound of Freedom. Like, what happens to these rescued children? Well, here's a true story of these African American families in Possum Trot, Texas, that takes them in. And I don't know if you've seen the trailer, but it goes right to your heartstrings. Right to your heartstrings. Homestead, I think, is more of a post-apocalyptic thing. I didn't get all the information on that. That's Thanksgiving. So, you know, they're coming out swinging, like you said. And here's another interesting thing about
Angel Studios.
Angel Studios. They have their own guild. The Angel Guild, right? You heard the pay it forward movement, all that. They've set up a thing where you even see it now in front of their films. This film is approved by the Angel Guild. Cabrini, you know, comes up. You know, that's part of the intro to the film credits. That's revolutionary, guys. What they're saying is we don't need any entity out of Hollywood telling us what to watch, telling us what to produce, telling us what's approved by their Wokoso eyes. This is our guild, made of a diverse group of people who have who you know are from the regular businessman to maybe someone who's in the business, to an Eduardo Verástegui, Alejandro Monteverde, type of quality people. This is our guild. I love that. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to the producer of Cabrini, and because and the big reason I want to talk to him was about this relationship he had with Angel Studios, because the producer had already been working with Alejandro Monteverde with filming it, and they were at the point where they were looking for a distributor. And if you watch that interview, it's very fascinating. But they were shopping it to distributors, and a lot of people were wanting to take it, but they just felt that Angel Studios was going to be. They had a plan, and they had a very solid plan on how they were going to promote and distribute Cabrini. And I will say, ads. I've seen plenty of ads. I saw plenty of ads for Cabrini for that. Film, that I don't think I would have seen had it gone with anyone else. So their model is twofold. It is to be that distributor of family faith-based films, as well as being its own producer and studio for that.
I'm sorry. And there's an animated film that they're releasing next year called David, and they got to see 10 minutes of that. And it's an animated film they've been working on for years. So that's another thing to look forward to. Because you're right. It's everything from kind of like really faith-specific films to more spirituality, good feeling films, to family films. Yeah. So, I mean, I would even say Cabrini is more of a underdog immigrant story than it is of a Catholic mother. This is your holy mission from Jesus story. Even though it is, it was, right? Alejandro did a great job making the film accessible to everybody.
Absolutely. The one thing that I talked with the producer about is that he didn't necessarily want to make a faith film, but what the film was it was a film about an activist. And he really wanted to get into that. And to me, it was like, activism today is not a great word, but in the context of Mother Cabrini, she was not someone who sat by her phone tweeting constantly. Activism, she put feet to her activism. She built orphanages. She fought the city to build an orphanage. She loved the children within those orphanages, trying to give them a better life. She put feet to her activism, and that's what true activism is. Activism is not a bad word, but we've certainly made it one over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, this is a true story, 1890s, of a woman who was told ever since she was a kid that she's gonna die because of her malady. That she just kept going on, and she had a higher calling. And she rattled the Archbishop of New York at the time, and really incredible, relentless spirit she had. And I think there's a biblical social justice, and then there's the woke social justice of today that is they're kind of clowns. Well, they are.
Yeah. All right, let me go over some comments here. Eucalyptus. Alan should continue to use this camera. It looks way better than his work camera.
Damn.
I mean, I'm literally on my iPad. This is my travel camera.
Damn.
And I've got to have these damn AirPods in my ears the whole time. Carlos Alfredo Lopez. Great to see Angel Studios is putting out good films. We can watch. And it's hashtag Latino Slant. That's you. There is an interesting movie up for the Guild called The Performance, starring Jeremy Piven. Hopefully this one gets picked up. Yes, I actually, not only have I seen The Performance, but I interviewed Jeremy Piven about The Performance. It's
really?
It's a unique film. It's about a tap dancer who builds a dance troupe in New York. And he gets called to perform. Oh, he goes on a European tour, And in the middle of the European tour, he gets asked to perform in front of a dignitary, a national dignitary who happened to be Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, he's a Jewish American entertainer. I'm looking at this
yeah,
now.
Yeah, and it's the let's put it this way: he performs for Hitler, and Adolf likes him, and you can just imagine the tension, the conflict that occurs in this film, and weirdly enough, this played at Cannes, and it also it premiered 2 days after the whole Israel Gaza thing. And so, yeah, if you watch that interview, it gets pretty raw at some points. And I would, yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know that it's been picked up yet. I feel like it's got a fight ahead of itself.
Yeah, I don't want to go. It's really strange because I've been rewatching a lot of the older HBO shows, just like just season 1, episode 1, boom.
Yeah,
Curb Your Enthusiasm. Now I'm on to Entourage, and I'm like, God, Piven was so good in his role. What happened to Piven? And then they're
the sense I get is he's been through the ringer, and I want to feel like he's on the right track now. I mean, this is definitely his passion project. His family produced the film. I believe it was his sister who directed it.
Right.
And so, and I think what's going on in world events, I think that's hit him as well, even though, this was filmed long before that, but it was kind of a forerunner to it. And, I remember, he was saying like, I won't get into it, but just watch that interview and you'll see.
So that's up for possible Angel Studios distribution.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, that would be interesting if they picked it up.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Let's get into Disney. So this is basically the only presentation I went to. I think because of the things that were going on here in Vegas, and I had to extend my trip a day. It was like, well, since I've been trolling Disney for the last 6 months,
right?
Why not do the ultimate troll and go to their presentation? And basically, what they did was they laid out all the films coming out this year from Disney, Marvel, Pixar, Star Wars, and Fox, and we got to see bits of it. And I'll say this: of the Disney films, one of them looks really good. The other films that look good are all the Fox films, and we'll get into that. Let me see. I think the next one coming out, is it Planet of the Apes?
Yeah, I just put it in the private chat. Rosa's notes.
Okay.
And what we talked about, but it goes from kind of like the next thing, which is Planet of the Apes. They show 13. You got to see 13 minutes of footage.
Yeah, I saw 13. Yeah, so I'll say this. My biggest complaint about these type of movies is they feel like they're adult cartoons. I definitely said it with Godzilla X Kong. I've been saying it forever about the Fast and the Furious series. I'm just kind of tired of, adult animation. Having seen 13 minutes of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, it looks really good. I saw the trailers like a couple months ago, and I'm like, this looks bad.
Right. The first
apparently
one,
they cleaned it up because the blending of the natural backgrounds with the apes is it's seamless, and I think they don't overdo it with the talking of the apes, and I think there's a little too much flippy floppy. Too much vine swinging going on, but in terms of the look of it, I was most impressed by how it looked, and I think it's I think this is probably as real as I've seen in a long time. Maybe I keep saying maybe going back to Jurassic Park. I'm not gonna, again, I only saw 13 minutes, so I can't vouch for the entire film. But again. They're gonna show you the best out here, and I think I saw the best of what this movie has to offer.
Well, that's exactly the same sentiments that Rosa had in regards to the blending of what was naturally filmed and the CGI was just epic, was just on point. So, between you and her, that's pretty good recommendation as far as just to see it in the big theater.
Based on the 13 minutes we saw. And I'm going to be saying that a lot because Disney has given us things to preview and it looks good. And then when you see the rest of it,
look out.
Realize, look out.
Right.
And I'll reference She-Hulk for that. All right. The next one was Young Woman and the Sea. I'm glad you gave me this list because I'd be racking my brain trying to figure this out.
Hey, all props to Rosa Parra, Latino Slant, and Film Threat. We're glad to share this info, man.
Yeah. No, thank you. Young Woman in the Sea. Part of me was like, oh, is this the DEI Old Man in the Sea? No, it's this.
Well, this is the fake Ray movie Disney Ridley in the Sea film.
Yeah.
This is Disney Ridley's
Disney Ridley in the Sea.
Disney Radley, whatever. This is Daisy. God, I get so confused with these names.
So this is
Daisy Ridley's film.
Yeah.
How was it?
So we saw the trailer. So, but it's
basically a trailer.
Yeah, and it's
and
put
it
up
comes out next week, right? Yeah.
Is it next week? Maybe. I'll just say it is a Disney feature, Disney live action feature. It kind of falls in the vein of the sports stories they've told for a very long time. It's about the woman who swam the English Channel for the first person to swim the English Channel long ago. And look, first of all, if you what?
I'm laughing because it's like the Armageddon of chicks swimming the channels. They had Naiad, and now you have this one in the same calendar year.
But the thing is, I like Naiad. Naiad was really good. This one, because I think Naiad worked really hard to feel authentic, to show what actually happened with Diana Naiad. This one takes place I want to say 30s, 40s, 50s, somewhere around there. I'm bad at history. And it's got that look. I think they do what Disney does in terms of the quality of the underwater footage is there. It looks decent. And then of course it's all about the women empowerment message. You can do it. Don't let a man keep you down.
Oh boy.
But again, that's the thing you have to put in these trailers.
Well, if anything is lacking is female empowerment underwater. where everyone's equal under the waves.
So to me the question is it that the trailer makes it look woke, or is it actually woke? Is it an overly feminist movie because of the trailer, or is the movie actually overly feminist? And it could go either way. This could be a good movie, and that they're just blaring at us the obvious message. But again, if you after watching this, and I couldn't help but keep thinking about Naiad, and again, which is a much better movie. The next thing is Pixar. From Pixar comes Inside Out 2. And I know I've had a lot of criticisms regarding the trailer, the trailers they put out. The idea of like kids embracing anxiety. I think there's shots where you kind of question the relationship that young Riley might get herself into, and is that appropriate for children? And so they brought in Amy Poehler. She talked about how glad she was to be back, and then all of a sudden she says, "Hey, we're going to show you the first 35 minutes of Inside Out." And I'm like, "Oh boy!" And the first thing that I noticed was that the opening credits, the opening studio montage, was heavily Disney. They brought out the castle, and it's like maybe I'm wrong, but I don't remember the castle and all the Disney stuff being so prominent at the start of a Pixar film, and it was here. And then you have little Luxo Jr. come out and do his thing, and then it gets right into Inside Out. And I will say this: this movie looks really good. I think if the rest of the movie pans out as good as the first 35 minutes of this movie, I think Pixar is going to have a big hit on their hands. At least one that will match the first Inside Out. The gang is back. The movie, from what I saw, felt very Inside Out. There's a couple changes. Bill Hader's not in the movie, so Fear is played by Tony Hale, and Mindy Kaling is not back. So they replaced in that case. Those are the two kind of blaring changes that I saw here. But I'll just give you a quick non-spoiler here. But essentially, Riley's 13 years old. She's become an exceptional hockey player, and she has two friends who kind of are her teammates, and they make this trio. And during their championship match, a local high school recruiter sees them, and the top high school hockey team recruiter sees them, invites them to skills camp for the summer. And just before Riley leaves, a warning light on the Inside Out panel goes off, and it's the puberty warning light. Riley's going in. Yeah, Riley's going to puberty. Wow. And that's when the new emotions appear. And in a way, the only spoiler I'll give is that the movie is basically a battle between the new emotions and the old emotions, which is yeah. And from what I saw, the way they integrated the thought process of how these new emotions play out, it feels very Inside Out, very clever, and I'm excited to see how the rest of this movie pans out. And again, they showed us the first 35 minutes. They could, if Disney does what Disney does, they're going to screw it up in the back end. So let's see. What are you saying? It comes out May 31st. Is that what we're saying? I believe so. Yeah,
May 31st was the Disney Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley. Okay, so that was the Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
Yeah, Inside Out, and then let's see. So I will say this.
I will say for Inside Out 2, Rosa really loved the new character, new motion of nostalgia.
Yeah.
I heard nostalgia got a lot of laughs.
Yeah, I will say the audience was into Inside Out 2. I certainly laughed at moments, just like I did the first movie. So I'm very hopeful about this. But again, they'll screw it up on the back end. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then Kevin Feige comes out, and he talks about basically there are
Alan,
3 films. Yeah.
Give me 1 minute. Be right back.
Oh, no problem. I'll just keep talking. So there are 3 films. How many? 1, 2, 3. Oh, there are 4 films that Marvel is putting out in the next year and a half. They are currently filming Thunderbolts. And the I don't know how much. Oh yeah, so this is so stupid. Oh yeah, we just started production on Thunderbolts, so none of the cast is here, but we have a special message from Florence Pugh, who's eating macaroni and cheese, and Florence comes out there, shown on the big screen, and she talks about how devastated she is that she can't be at CinemaCon, but she's going to finish her macaroni and cheese. And that was pretty much the video that was shown from Florence Pugh. Thanks. The other one, Fantastic Four, they just mentioned that it's in the works, and that they have a great cast starring Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. And then we get into the big ones. The first one is Captain America: Brave New World. We saw couple scenelets and a trailer. Anthony Mackie came out. And basically, the opening line from Kevin Feige is, "Remember how much you loved Civil War?" And it's at that point you realize, oh, they're going to screw up Civil War now. And so Captain America: Brave New World is going to be it's a political thriller like Civil War is. It only has Captain America in it. Also, his buddy from the television series, I forget his name. Paulie will tell me when he gets back. And they showed a clip with Harrison Ford, who is the new Thunderbolt Ross. And I believe from what they showed us, it's President Thunderbolt Ross. And the word that got out as a spoiler is basically the president wants Captain America to reform the Avengers in some form or the other. And once that pronouncement is made, that's when things go haywire. And so I don't think I think the way they set it up is he was asked to reform the Avengers. Things go awry, and now Captain America has to save the day, and then question whether to reform the Avengers or not. That would be my guess. So there we go. That's what we got from that. It looked good, but we've been there before. From what you have to have in your mind the fact that they've reshot like 90% of this movie. So what did we get? And I think we got scenes that were that they're keeping, and they're reshooting it now. So I don't know. The rumors about the movie could be true. Let's just say that. Let's go. And then the next thing they brought out the director of Deadpool and Wolverine, Sean Levy. This gave Kevin Feige the opportunity to swear, to drop multiple F-bombs, and then Sean Levy came out dropping more F-bombs, just to kind of give the flavor. This is a Marvel Studios movie. It is rated R, and the impression you get from Sean Levy is that Marvel gave Ryan Reynolds carte blanche, that this is his movie, and they're going to go with it. The exciting announcement that came out from this was that Kevin Feige started talking about popcorn buckets and how some popcorn buckets have become viral, and he made the promise that there will be a Deadpool popcorn bucket, and that while some other popcorn buckets were controversial by mistake, this popcorn bucket will be controversial intentionally. So give that what you will. And then we saw basically an extended opener of Deadpool and Wolverine. You've seen a lot of the scenes in the trailers. This is non-spoiler, so Wade is kind of like he's a salesman. He works for basically a CarMax type company. He's very happy that he's got a 9-to-5 job, and that Vanessa is happy with her new boyfriend, and that he's just going to live the rest of his life like a normal average person. And then he gets abducted by the TVA from Loki, and they want him to basically restore the sacred timeline, and that's where he becomes Marvel Jesus, and he fully embraces it. He's ready to go and save the sacred timeline. And that's kind of where we're left off. Let's see.
Back.
Yes. Do you remember who Captain America's buddy was from the TV show?
From the TV show?
Yeah, he was the brown guy. I just assume you would know.
Oh yeah, Danny Ramirez.
Yes.
The actor Danny Ramirez, who was in Top Gun as well.
Okay. Yeah. So he'll be a big part of Captain America.
Yeah. I like the actor, but obviously, I mean, I'm not a big fan of that.
Okay. Let's see. Let me go through some of the comments before we continue with Marvel here. There's civil. Let's see, actor. Okay, yeah. So Bill S. Preston, activism used to be about taking action, not just making noise. Yeah, you feed the hungry, clothe the naked, shelter the homeless, care for the sick, visit the imprisoned. Yeah, 100%.
Guess who still does that?
Who?
Churches.
Yeah.
And sobriety programs. Still go and do that day in, that it's it's still being done every day, but it's not the flashy type of social media activism that the Wokosos are into. They Wokosos don't have the backbone to do this actual type of activism work in the communities. In fact, what they've been doing them is just they've made it worse for real social programs, churches, and they just have made it worse because they've created more of a mess. Anyways,
I'll stop. We could go on. I know those stories, buddy. I know for a fact that for people who actually want to help the community, the government, the local governments, the state makes it very difficult for people to do good, because hey, the government obviously can do it better. They collect our taxes. They collect our taxes, and they wisely use that money to help its citizens,
especially in California.
Yes. All right. Let's see. Gonshagi 437 for 199. Thank you. Even if it's good, will enough folks still care? Yeah. I mean, that's the $1 million question right there.
Deadpool?
No, it's just the studios have it's like they've done so much harm to the properties that even if they pull off a good one, would we go out and see it again with with the vigor that we did the original? Like let's say word came out that the next Star Wars movie would be amazing, it would be great. Would people come out and see it?
No, I got you. I will say that people are hungry to love something, and I think Godzilla and Dune 2 are good examples of that. Whether they're you like them or not, you can still see audiences are still they're just dying to be engaged, and not talked down to, or educated, which is so odd that Star Wars and Disney films have taken upon themselves to do that.
When I talk to studio owners about Angel Studios, I mean, they love Angel Studios because people show up, people come to the theater and see Angel Studios, and selfishly they get half the ticket gate, unlike the big studio films where they get a third of the ticket gate and the studio gets 2/3 of it. So they like the financial situation. I mean, look at Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny. Let's see. Chris is sending me a message here. Ignore. Okay, so
is he all right?
Yeah, he's right. He's watching, and I'm getting notes. So
good. Yeah, I haven't gotten any text from him, so
okay.
I'll take it as a good thing. I'm doing okay.
Okay, so we'll get through the Marvel panel, or the Disney panel, and then we'll get to notes. Let's see. Moving on. So we got there. Yeah. So Deadpool, Wolverine. I mean, it looks like it's gonna be really good. I don't think there's any question there. Let's see. Alien Romulus. I saw Alien the first time not too long ago, about a year and a half ago. It scares the hell out of me. I will tell you, this footage we saw scared the hell out of me. The aliens are back. The face huggers are back. Eggs are planted. This looks. If the only thing I would say is, at times it does feel like it's the Scooby-Doo squad, the Scooby-Doo and the aliens, because they're all basically teenagers. To me, the issue there is not necessarily that you couldn't do it with teenagers, but do they act like teenagers or do they act like superhuman adults? And it looks really good. Ridley Scott claims that it's fucking amazing, so maybe that's a good endorsement of the film. But the footage that we saw is very effective, very tense.
So you're not talking about the trailer. You got to see some actual footage.
Yes.
See, this is the thing. I was so let down with the trailer. So that's good to know. So you're saying it's a step up from the trailer.
Yes. I
This is
mean,
the Fede Alvarez alien Romulus, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely we saw action. We saw lots of action. We saw we saw the threat that the aliens are. And
and then how about our female protagonist? Is she like a Ripley, or do we get like a chunk of dialogue, like some character background on her?
Well, I will say this: I didn't know much about the movie going in, so when you say female protagonist, I'll say this: it's a team of teens, and it was fairly balanced in terms of the action.
Okay,
it's an ensemble piece.
Okay,
so for me to say, yeah, there was a female lead. There probably was, and I think I know who it is, but in that scene, she wasn't necessarily the Ripley character. It involved everybody, and to be honest, an ensemble piece, that's the way it should be. All right. Then we go to Barry Jenkins, who the Academy Award winning from the Academy Award winning Moonlight brings us Mufasa, the Lion King.
Oh boy.
Yes, and he comes out and he talks about his love of the Lion King, his love of movies, how his mother would take him to movies all the time. And he was given the script to Mufasa and asked to direct it. And he said yes. And he presents a convincing argument that he was the right guy to do this. Time will tell. We'll see. We saw some footage. Essentially, the story takes us outside of the Pride Lands, and it's kind of an origin story of Scar and Mufasa and the Pride Lands itself. And some of our friends are back. Rafiki, I believe Timon's in it. It's this one. We saw the trailer, and I saw that trailer in The Lion King. There wasn't exactly anything that stood out in the trailer that says, "Hey, this is different from the first one." And maybe it's just a bad trailer. So it's really hard to judge whether this will be good. We got a log line. That's how we know the story, and we got a very personal, heartfelt story from Barry Jenkins. And that's the only thing That's the only thing I have that gives any indication that this could be a good movie.
See my movie, or I'm gonna lose my job. Was that the tagline?
Yeah, exactly. But it comes out Christmas, so it's got a ways away. And they did not spoil who wrote the music, so we have no idea. I don't think it was Elton John.
Man, there's just a lot of remaking, sequelizing, all that stuff. It's like there's not a lot of new stuff from this past week.
But Disney has one original movie.
Okay.
Coming out. Then the last one, Moana 2. Okay, so first, the exciting thing about the Moana 2 presentation was the appearance of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the final boss who lost at WrestleMania. And, although he did pin Cody in night one. So he comes out, and this is one of those things that if you didn't know the history of Moana 2, of the production of it, you would think, this is going to be great. But the fact that it was announced a couple of weeks ago at an earnings call from Disney. B, this is, they were making a Moana TV series in Vancouver. They decided to switch it from being a TV series to making it a movie. And then a week ago, they recently announced the signing of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Aurelio Carvalho. I know I butchered the name, but the original Moana, and so she's back. And this movie's coming out at Thanksgiving, and then they showed us the opening moments of the film where Moana sings the opening song, and I'm like, how the hell did they pull this together? Look, if I'll say this about the trailer. If you've been reading the D files, you know what a mess Wish was. and how intentionally bad it was. This, I will admit, is a return to form for Disney films. So Wish was more or less a fluke. In terms of the how horrible the animation was. This one, again, return to the original. It looks like a Moana movie. The opening number was, was basically, "Hey, I'm back. I'm back to the village." After Wave running for so long, and the movie catchy. I don't remember a single lyric or harmony from it. But it's back, and I'm pretty sure that's probably the first thing they made her sing when she got back, when Moana got back, and we'll see. This is
man. How you describe it just sounds like garbage, man.
Well, you know what it.
This all is very depressing, bro.
Yeah, I mean, you want to give it a fair chance, but they have a reputation. And also, they didn't show you anything that would inspire you to believe that things are better. And I think that's the problem with all this. So here, I'll tell you what I think will be the movies that have a chance to be successful based on what we saw. The first one is Deadpool versus Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Sure.
I think that's the surefire hit of Disney for the summer. The second one is Inside Out. I think if what we saw is an indication what the entire film is, it's going to be a big hit for kids, and I think it will do just as good as the first movie, provided that again the end it sticks to the landing. The third one is Alien Romulus. I think the only thing working against it is the fact that it is a horror film. And whether you can get enough people to go out and see it. But I think Alien fans, I think definitely will have a big weekend because I think it will appeal to Alien fans or soon to be Alien fans. So, and then the last one was Planet of the Apes. I think I get a better understanding of what the story is, and it seems interesting. I think it will do well, but I'm not exactly. I've never really been excited about the Planet of the Apes series, the new ones at least. But it's my job to see it, so we'll see. But again, if it looks this good and the story pays off, I think it will make money.
So Disney comes out with their slate, the presentation of the rest of the year and stuff for next year, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going into Winter Soldier. Yeah, I'm sorry, going into Captain America.
And they got their stars. Some came out, some didn't. Did video presentations. I don't know what's missing. You got the Inside Out. You got Moana 2. What's missing from their slate in the presentation? But they've spent millions and millions of dollars.
Let's see. Well, the one that comes to mind is Elio.
No, Snow White.
Snow White.
Why? I bring this up because. There was a post from Rachel Ziegler yesterday being on vacation.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. I'm like, this is supposed to be Snow White was the first of first, correct? The original.
Right. The first.
And you pushed it back a year. You're going to do this and that changes. Shouldn't we have something of quality to show? Shouldn't we have a scene, an image? A teaser trailer, something, and then you could bring out your biggest, youngest star, Rachel Ziegler, to present it at CinemaCon 2024.
Yeah,
nothing, Alan.
Yeah, well, okay. What happened? In fairness, they did announce that Snow White is pushed off a year. So, I mean, they didn't announce it here. They announced it.
That's been announced.
Yeah, it's been announced. But so it's not. Yeah,
but they did that with Ballerina, and yet they had a Ballerina presentation, right? Which was very successful.
Yeah,
I mean that had problems as well.
Yeah, and I will mention that Elio was supposed to come out this year, and I barely know anything about that. And that's I don't know the fate of that one either. But it does surprise me. I mean, the biggest surprise was Moana 2. because that just came out of nowhere. And it just, the way the news came out about it was that it's, they need something.
Yeah.
And Moana 2 is probably the best thing they have. And I believe they got to their credit, they did get Broadway composer and lyricist to write the music for it. But I never heard of the play they did. I don't have time to look it up, but it's one of these small pairs.
The mothership that is Disney does need a hit, right? Because even if Deadpool and Wolverine is a huge hit, it's not really theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man's not really theirs.
Yeah.
And they need a massive hit, and I just find it interesting, disappointing, and it says a lot that they could not even show anything on any level of Snow White. It might be a smart move on them, because maybe they just want Ziegler to go away for a few years.
Yeah.
So that was just a point I wanted to bring up.
Yeah. The impression I got was there's no sense that the ship has been righted, that they're moving in the right direction. The hits that are gonna come out of Disney are coming out of Fox, and the only surprise is that Inside Out 2 could actually be good. That's the sense I got walking away from this.
Yeah, and from an in-person source that we share, their Deadpool is totally gone off the reservation in a good way for us, and that they can't believe that Marvel Disney let them go this far.
Yeah.
So I'm like, thank God, because I'm
Well, yeah. Well, like you said, Disney needs the hit, and I think Disney is going to let Ryan Reynolds roast them for that hit,
and roast Feige.
Yeah,
it's great.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go to our the chat. So Chris, we're going to comments now. From Rumble, ADLS24, Inside Out 2 feels like a future D-Files article. Possibly could. I think Moana 2 is going to be the one that probably will. Why is Pedro Pascal required to be in every movie? I know. Yeah, Paulie, why is Pedro Pascal required to be in every movie?
Well, Booger, because my people have been so oppressed for so long that we only have one guy to represent the guys with the mustaches in every movie. And that guy this year is Pedro Pascal, not Pedro Pascal. But thank you, Booger, 414. Muchas gracias, Film Threat.
Well, I mentioned before, but when was the last time you went to the theaters and didn't see Pedro Pascal or Awkwafina in the trailer? In any of the trailers?
What's funny? Totally. It's a Pedro Pascal, but I saw Smokey the Bandit the other day on Netflix, and if there's any movie that he should do, he should play the Bandit. I'm like, I don't think I'm like, oh my God, he looked like Burt Reynolds. Pedro looks like Burt Reynolds. I mean, I love Smoking the Bandit. I'm not saying to redo it. I'm just saying if. I just love Smoking the Bandit.
Like, you could make all of Burt Reynolds' movies with Pedro Pascal.
No, just that one. Why?
Cannonball Run? You wouldn't want to see him in that?
I got to tell you, I think that's just how do I put it? The fact is, Pedro's not the only Latino working in Hollywood. There's a lot of Latinos working in Hollywood. I think,
and neither is Awkwafina.
I just think because of the genres that these channels that you guys cover, it's just Pedro Pascal, Awkwafina. But I get it, Booger. I get it.
All right. I am become Death Destroyer of words. That Deadpool popcorn bucket better be mucho unintentionally schmexier than the Doom popcorn bucket. Absolutely. From Rumble ADLS24, the AMC marketing director regretted the Dune popcorn. Shows how little they truly understand how viral marketing, about viral marketing in 2024. Yeah, that's a surprising comment. I would embrace it. I would have embraced it, but you guys have seen me do this live stream. Of course, I would embrace something like that. Bush and Ryu Cat for $5. Thank you very much. Cartoon hero tights don't belong in live action. So what was Falcon and Winter Soldier thinking at the end? I did like the U.S. agent and wish he had a spinoff. I think that's your friend there, who's the U.S. agent. Bush and Ryu Cat also for $2. I want to buy the Last Kingdom Blu-ray set. Opinion. The Last Kingdom. Do you know The Last Kingdom?
Are we talking about Ridley Scott's last?
Yes, I would think so. Yeah.
Cut. I hear that his director's cut is pretty amazing, but I still have not seen it. So, but that's
all right. All right. Let's see. I left the film. Let's see. Oh, I'm wondering if. Okay, I don't know what the comment. This might be Civil War, but from you fuck that bitch. For $1.99, I left the movie 20 minutes into the film. I think that's Civil War.
Is that Civil War? You don't have to do another. Yeah. Well, it's on my channel. If you want to do another super chat and be specific, please hit another $1.99 for Film Threat.
James Willard became a YouTube member. Welcome, and be sure to stop by the Discord and join in there. Sean Hu for $7.42. Thank you. Nothing to worry about, but Chris is out for the next week or so. He'll explain when he returns. People are asking. That's right. He'll probably give me more instructions. Believe me, he'll have plenty of notes when this is over. And Jericho Leone, Alan giving Disney a fair take. Hands yellow heart red. Hands yellow heart red. Yeah. Look, you just, that's just my nature. I try to give the benefit of the doubt, but you go in eyes wide open. They have a track record, so we'll see. Titus Pennell. Seriously, I love how Film covers Christian and faith-based films. Absolutely. From Goober, Ziegler was sent away for desmugging. Desmugging. Christopher Moonlight Productions. Driving right now, but question. Rumor has it that annual content for the theaters is down to 2/3, and that they may become more amenable to indie products. Do you see any evidence of that? I do know for certain that theaters take 1/3 of the cut of ticket sales for the big studio films. And the smaller indies are usually negotiated per studio, and they generally run 50-50. So yes, they're more into the indie films than they are bad studio films. Let's see, Aaron Taylor, Latino Slant, played by Pedro Pascal.
Hello, Ellen and Frank Gore. I love the Frank Gore and the Film Threat in Las Vegas. Es muy bueno.
Okay.
I don't know what I was doing.
I know. Samuel Ireton. Just work on it. Just keep working on it.
Yeah, we're having fun.
They need fresh stories and maybe the return to the occasional 2D animated film. A kids movie that actually addresses sacred masculinity. If you want sacred masculinity, go see Arcadian this weekend with Nick Cage. He plays a father with sons, and he's teaching the sons to survive. This movie could not be more masculine. Let's just put it that way. Arcadian in theaters now. And Nick Cage, again. Let's see. Where am I? Brock Samsonite.
I'm all about movies about fathers and sons. Absolutely.
Exactly. No. Exactly. Why is it becoming the exception than the okay. Brock Samsonite. I want Disney to make an animated feature in the old style again. Like how Lilo and Stitch was animated, not this computer crap. The only thing I'll say is 2D animation is dead, especially at Disney. Mark Henn, one of the great 2D animators at Disney, he retired. He's becoming a Disney legend. And, John Lasseter, to his credit, when he came on board, he brought us Winnie the Pooh. He brought us Princess and the Frog. They did try to do 2D. It's just expensive. It's time consuming, and that's his biggest problem. And speaking of Lilo Stitch, that with the wild robot, I believe that's the name of it. Is that the name of it? Mm-hmm. It looks incredible, and I think it did try to do what Wish tried to do, and that was to give a 2D look using 3D animation. And for some reason, the reason I mentioned Lilo and Stitch is because it's from Chris Sanders, who made Lilo and Stitch, and he seems to have a better grasp of animation than Disney does. All right, we're gonna get to Civil War in just a moment. Bush and Ryuket, Polly, twirl that mustache, senor. It's
been heavily trimmed down, especially right before my trip. Yeah, it gets wild, man. So now it's very much not twirlable, unfortunately, but I can pretend it is.
All right, from Andrew Cram, $20 super sticker. I hope you selected the obscene one. And then from Davina Duckworth, I thank Alan and Polly for doing a great job. Yeah. I hope you're probably sensing Chris shaking in his boots that his job is in jeopardy here.
Yeah, right.
All right. Here, let's move on. I could play a dumb video as a way to transition.
What the fuck? It's a piece of shit. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Piece of shit. What the fuck? Piece of shit. What the fuck? Fuck shit. Fuck no shit. Fuck this show. 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 Fuck that shit. Fucking moron. Fuck this show. 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 Fuck that shit.
Wow.
Okay. So if you want to know what
show was he talking about?
Oh, I forgot. It was
Boy Unhinged, man.
I know, wow. Again, I was just saying, if you want to know what happened to Chris, well, there you go.
Wow. I mean, that's like me when people tell me Taco Bell's authentic Mexican food. Fuck that shit.
I mean, your grandmother, your abuela, didn't serve gorditas during Christmas,
or chalupas.
Chalupas. Okay.
Wow, that was pretty epic. That was an epic video.
All right.
Wow.
Well, let's move on. Let's talk about Civil War. This is the big one. Chris and I actually saw it on Monday, right before heading out to Las Vegas. So I'll give you the quick one. There is a civil war raging in America. The forces of Texas and California have invaded Washington, D.C., and the movie takes place kind of at the tail end of the Civil War. One side is about to win. And in this film, we follow 4 journalists, mostly photojournalists, played by Kirsten Dunst, who plays Lee, Wagner Moura, who plays Joel, Kaylee Spani as Jesse, and Stephen McKinley Henderson as Sammy. They're just 4 intrepid reporters. I believe Lee works for Reuters. And their goal is to go into Washington, D.C., to the Capitol, and interview the president, who has made a final declaration that America is about to win this war, and that they want to interview the president. But the problem is, to get in there, they have to embed themselves. They have to fight through the battle, the war that's going on, and they meet people along the way who are friends and who are foes. They have a little adventure, and then the whole movie culminates with them getting to the president. I will say this: this movie, the movie is very mixed in terms of overall reaction. My personal reaction is I like this movie. I like it a lot. Part of it is, when the trailers came out, I think we were surmising that this is just going to be some kind of woke garbage. It's not. In fact, the movie goes out of its way to not take a side. There are 2 sides in this war. you can't necessarily pin one party to one side and another party to the other side. That, in fact, if you were to assign a party to one side or the other, this would be a very different film because you would interpret things that happen in the film very differently. The criticism also is that it doesn't guide you to the idea that who's good, who's bad. Whose side would you be on if you were in this conflict? There's no indication that they're wanting you to take a side, because both sides do equally horrendous things. To me, what Alex Garland did with this movie was to present what an American Civil War would look like, and to put you in that war, and to make you question who's doing the right thing, or make you question what side do you think you'd be on. It's a movie that presents a story and asks you as the audience to make decisions for yourself about what the story is about. And honestly, I think that was a good choice, because I think if this movie was political, we'd be having a far different discussion. And I think, and in that discussion, I think it would create a divide, in a way that the movie is warning us about the divide that we're currently going through. And so I very much see this movie as more of a warning of the divide, of the progression that this divide could take us to an actual civil war, and what that looks like. So to me, the best movies are the ones that you watch, whether you hate it or like it, you talk about it. And I think that's what this movie is going to do. It's going to have us talking about it. Paulie, what did you think of Civil War?
Well, so much. I mean, first of all, I think it's a riveting road trip movie.
Mm-hmm.
The marketing was very deceptive. This is not a war movie, a battle movie. It's about battles and sides, where, it is about 4 journalists, photojournalists and print journalists, on a road trip to go and, like you said, interview the president, and what they encounter. But also what's riveting is how they talk about the juice, why they're photojournalists, why they're in the trade, embedded. I found that stuff just amazing.
Yeah.
And I was not expecting that. And so with that, I found the ending to be completely satisfying as a film goer, as cinema, in being entertained, not as a political this is such an important film on our times. That's garbage. You can always say that. My thing is, how is this film going to stand 5-10 years down the line? Sort of the films like Salvador, or what's the Gene Hackman? There's a Gene Hackman, Nick Nolte one. They talked about the juice. I mean, and they use those backdrops, and those are very specific wars, civil wars in Latin America. But those were the backdrops. That was the backdrop. It was these 4 different people and what they were encountering together that I really just I bought it. I was in.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it the same way you did, in terms of, it felt like Homer's Odyssey. It's like you have these 4 journalists, and they just move from one small story to the next. They're not necessarily connected, but they have this Civil War theme kind of looming overhead. Like they go into a town where everything seems normal, that the Civil War, that everything outside of the city limits is not happening. And they go in and they kind of look at how the people, they just go into a clothes shop and try on dresses because these journalists want to feel human again. And they question, well, how is it that you guys aren't affected by what's going on out there? And I just remember, it was kind of haunting where she says, because we just don't think about it. That's out there. We're just going to live in the safety of our cocoon. And I think we do that even today with the battles raging on social media. A lot of people just want to stay out of it, and to be honest, you can't blame them.
Again, I actually think you're doing a disservice if you come from this with seeing this film, if you're coming at it from a political social lens, from the left or right. Garland, if you've taught, you can dig around, it doesn't take too long. He says, no, I have my very personal opinions, but I leave it open to interpretation. And he did that. And that's called entertainment. That was fantastic. A little thought-provoking, riveting, great performances. But I say that because if you do come at this film from a really left or right lens, you're gonna hate the film. That's just it. You're gonna hate it. I get it. I get why people are hating it. I didn't see the film like that, and I was riveted with the actors, with Kirsten Dunst, which I don't particularly like her as an actor, and Wagner Moura, who played Pablo Escobar in Narcos. This man is an incredible talent. And what a great character. He's the James Woods in this film. And James Woods' character in Salvador was that adrenaline junkie, just madman, and then womanizer. that was Joe, and all along we're seeing this new photojournalist played by the actress that played Priscilla. Forget her name. What a great
Carol Spani.
What a great arc. What a great character. And I was in because of these four strong actors. Yeah.
And I was in because of the questions that it posed. The fact that it wasn't, I mean, honestly, I think this movie did take sides and said that this side was Trump and this side was Biden. I think I would have hated this movie because then I would feel like I was being lectured to one way or the other. And I think that's what we hate is movies telling us how to think. And I think that was the whole point. Think for yourself, watch this, come up to your own conclusions. And I will say, I'm pretty sure I was with the FNT Yang yesterday at the meetup, and they have very different opinions about this movie. And I get it because, I think the big complaint from them about the movie was that it was like they wanted to take a side. They wanted to be, they wanted because by taking a side, it felt like that there was a more cohesive story at that point. Because to me the story was a series of scenes, which is not exactly the greatest form of storytelling, but it can work. But in this case, there wasn't necessarily a through line that you were following, except for the adventure of these journalists. And as much as you were following that through line of the journalists, there was an overarching through line they wanted. Why did this civil war happen? What was necessarily the ultimate plan of the Civil War? What was the outcome, the end goal of the Civil War? That's not in there. How it happened, not in there.
No.
And I think people really wanted that as some kind of foundation and grounding. But again, if you do that, if you say that this is why the Civil War happened, then it becomes political. Then it becomes that reason. And I believe that it was intentional. I mean, I know for sure Alex Garland didn't want to do that. He didn't want to get specific, and I think that's probably the major weakness of this movie.
I can't say. Listen, I really enjoyed it. Was there some scenes that were kind of like too on the nose? Sure, we could talk about it because it's the Jesse Plemons, which is. That scene has been like really promoted heavily in all the marketing materials and all that stuff. The marketing is, if anything, is really woke, deceptive, garbage. So, but again, I get why people hate it or why they're disappointed because they wanted the film to pick a side, and the side was with the photojournalist. It's that once you pick a side as a human, you're no longer doing your job, which is to document what is going on and to send that beacon back with your work. They just would never imagine that would be on their own soil. So that was a very interesting take because unlike these other ones that have been done before, Under Fire and Salvador, they were always in a faraway land signaling the news to them. But there's a great line from Salvador, and I think it coincides with here, is that the closer we get to the story is the closer we get to the truth. We show the truth, and that's what these guys are. You got that, but you get too close, you're gonna perish, which is in the film as well. Listen, I was all in it for that.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a great point, because the Latin American civil wars, the communist takeovers or attempted communist takeovers of Central America, those are stories that we know, but at the same time, these are stories that happened there, thousands of miles, hundreds of or thousands of miles away. We were watching it on television. What the haunting thing about this movie is that the Civil War is taking place in our own backyard, on roads and in cities that we know and we're comfortable with. And that Jesse Plemons scene comes up a lot, because in the trailer you think what his motivation was, because of course he's a white guy from the South, but you realize that that's not his motivation, but it was his actions that felt familiar. So the reason why wasn't what we thought it was. It was the atrocities that he was committing at that point. And to me, that was the important thing. Or to me, what felt like this movie was about was what people will do when they become so divided and resort to civil war. And that that life you live, like for these journalists to drive down a road and see a car behind them and wonder, is this it? Are they gonna, are they dead? Going just driving down a road and have a sniper shoot at you. As weird as that scene was, he's trying to put you in that situation.
Great scene.
Yeah, it's a weird scene. It's a weird setup. Because
Joe, Pedro, Wagner's character Joe, keeps asking the sniper, like, "What side are you on?" And he's like, "You see that guy? He's trying to shoot me. I'm trying to shoot him." like what a stupid ass question in the moment.
Yeah.
Right. But it was great, because we want to know, like, oh, what side is this person on? Who's doing what? I think in thinking about it overnight, I would have liked to see like Under Fire, like Salvador, you're going into a different country, Nicaragua and in Salvador, or Kosovo, whatever those those different movies are. You're always getting international press covering it. I would have loved at least one international character as part of the four, because even Wagner's character Joe is I take it as a legal resident U.S. citizen, right? And there's that. We could talk about that later. But I would have loved to have seen a kind of Australian or an English, like a foreign press person there, because in Civil Wars you go and cover the news. The whole world would have been there covering the news. I would have liked to have seen that character.
Yeah. Well, they kind of do that.
Well, but the director, you mean?
No, those characters, the international reporters.
I'm confused.
Oh no, that's all right. Because it would be a spoiler if I keep. It's going to be a spoiler if I keep.
Oh, we'll do spoilers in a minute. Then you'll explain it to me.
Yeah, we'll do it. Okay. So yeah. Oh yeah. So final.
Oh, that's right. The Japanese one at the end. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We'll wait. Yeah. We'll wait, bro.
Honestly, I'm not talking about that one either. But yeah, I remember in high school, like my teacher I have a history teacher who showed us movies as part of the learning, and he was showing us a lot of these anti-war films, especially ones that depicted World War One. This is one of those that felt like it. That it was more about what was happening on the ground than it was about the bigger picture. And so that's the movies. Yeah, go ahead.
When they did that, guys, they did that really well. In one of the montages with with the four, they Wagner's character the night before sees the firelights going on, all the battles, like, let's go, can we go? Kirsten's like, well, maybe in the morning if it's still going. Well, it's still going, and they go and are part of this. They get embedded with the rebels, I guess. And
or was it the other side?
I don't know, right?
Exactly.
It does. At that point, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop trying to figure out who's who. I'm paying attention to these four, and you see, like, they just want to. Okay, can we get in a little cloud? Can we get that shot? Can we get that angle? Paige and Wagner's pulling her back. I was like, oh my god! And then they throw in that fantastic De La Soul "Say No Go," one of my favorite songs from De La Soul, and that was a riveting montage that ends in maybe they're the good guys or bad guys, but they assassinate who they capture. I was like, wow,
yeah.
That was awesome.
So I'll end on this. I remember before the movie started, the lights were just about to go down. I'm on X on my phone, and I see Grace Randolph, her initial reactions to the movie, and she hated this movie. She was like, "There's a point where someone is on their knees surrendering, and they shoot the person." I don't want to say where that happens, but it was a very pivotal scene. And she was like, you don't shoot unarmed people surrendering with their hands in the air. I think she's kind of thinking this is a, Black Lives Matter moment. And she just went off. And I grabbed the phone and I show it to Chris and I go, I think we're going to like this movie.
That's right. I remember you said that. Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Because
the best Black Lives Matter members are white gringas.
Yeah, but my point in all that is, for a movie like this, do you dare moralize? Do you dare, to criticize it for making choices that should naturally take place in this story? It just seems to me that that defeats the whole point of storytelling. That you've got to cross lines at times to make a point.
Or the atrocities of war. Absolutely. Because what I did get is that both sides did some very fucked up things to each other.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
No, it's very clear. And you see it.
And that's all I need. And you do see it. You do see it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not until the final battle where you realize who's on what side.
Correct. Yeah. And that final battle was cinematically was absolutely just
people are describing it as Apocalypse Now. I kind of even like it to like Saving Private Ryan in terms of you are in the middle of the action, the way it's shot, the sound design. There's a moment in this movie, I think it's like right at the beginning of the movie. We were watching it in IMAX, and the opening sequence sounded like it sounded like a sound test pattern for the theater, to make sure that all the speakers were working. And I say that because this movie immerses you visually and through sound as well. And so as a piece of filmmaking, it is quite spectacular.
Well, that's Alex Garland and his team, man. Those guys. Yeah. He's got
So what happened with Men? That's my question. What the hell was Men?
I saw that trailer when it came out a few years ago. I said, I'm not seeing this movie.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah.
Again, that was another movie I just checked out of once it went off to Crazy Town. All right, let's go over your comments.
Yes.
Peter Ackery saw Civil War last night on a regular screen, and it was great. It's nothing like the trailer. Great use of sound. Exactly.
Great use of sound. Silence, ear popping, numbing, and then just aggravated, and everything that you would feel that this the young photographer is feeling for the first time when she sees, these atrocities that happen in front of her.
Absolutely. All right. Yeah. From Lord Thoth, who's modding for us today. Like, share, subscribe, hit that ding button for notifications. Sign up as a member. Join us on Discord. Also follow on Rumble. From Raylo Normie, I'm just not in the mood for a cynical political this year. Civil War sounds like a bad time, even if it's good. Maybe a while back, I would have wanted to see it. To me, the best thing about this is it's not preachy. I mean, we're not being told. It is kind of preachy. It is very anti-war, but by not taking a side, you're not getting a lecture that you're a bad person. It's wanting you to think, wanting you to consider what the consequences of a civil war would be. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, from Bush and Ryucat for $5. Thank you. I think we just did this one already. But for Alan and Carlos, I think that's you, Paulie. Yeah, because you're brown, Chris. I found a Blu-ray box set for a series I never heard of, The Last Kingdom. Is it good? Early. Oh yeah, go ahead.
We're talking about The Last Kingdom, the TV show. Oh, I am in love with The Last Kingdom. Yes.
Awesome. All right.
Yes.
So, okay. So, thumbs up from Carlos.
Thumbs up from Carlos. Yes. And they have a movie that you can see on Netflix, but you have to see all 5 seasons of The Last Kingdom first.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I am Utrecht, son of Utrecht from Bebenberg. Yeah. Dude, I know that show inside and out. Me and Mexican Iron Man watched that show inside. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
From Aaron Sleeper for $4.99. Thank you. This is going back to our Disney discussion. People do realize that 2D animation was being done on computers, Java devices like Wacom and Deep Canvas, since as early as The Lion King. Yes, I think there's definitely a transition. I do know though that hand-drawn animation 2D was very hand-drawn. Let's see. Oh yeah. So sorry, I'm getting notes. So before we continue on with notes, what's the bottom line there, Paulie? I thought we did that.
No.
Your final thoughts on the film.
Final thoughts on the film. Go see it. It's entertaining. That's the Garland entertains us. Thought-provoking, all that good stuff. Put away your political lens as far as where you're coming from, and just go enjoy it. I want to see it again, see it on a big screen.
Yeah, and I'll say the same thing. The reason to see this film is because it's not a lecture. It is an anti-war film, and I think that's the point. It's more or less a warning as to the direction we're headed. If things go total bat crazy. All right. So let's continue on. From Patrick Lemire. I've seen TDS people in my Facebook feed hating the Civil War movie. Seems like nothing Orange Man. It seems like not enough Orange Man bad in it for them. Yeah.
What's TDS?
TDS, Trump derangement syndrome.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's the example I gave you, Patrick. Is meaning like if you're coming at it from the too far right, too far left, it's almost like being an independent voter. You got to be an independent voter to go see to really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's that sense that you want a side to be the clear winner, and then you want that side to be you, and the moment you don't follow that, you don't fall in line that way, then you just go nuts. You go full TDS. From Patrick Lemire again, Progressive wanted an obvious Trump as baddie and didn't get it. Yeah, because I think people were assuming that the Nick Offerman character was Trump. Maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe it was Biden. Maybe he was a young Biden, full of clarity of thought.
I mean, go down this political rabbit hole, guys. And he was just your president who turned on his own people, and guess what? That has happened in our history in so many countries. It's part of human history. That's how I saw it. It just was that hook of that. It's in America. It was interesting.
Okay, looks like we have our first dissenter. Our friend C.D. Stein 69. I disagree, Alan. There we go. And then, yeah, I disagree, Alan. There were definitely making the president a Trump-like figure, and the journalists were horrible human beings, like the guy saying the gunfire gave him a hard-on. Yeah. Let's see. So
wait a minute.
Yeah. So I think you can infer. I mean, I think that's the whole point is, putting your thoughts and your ideas into it. I think it's intentionally vague. Was it Trump? Maybe. Maybe it wasn't. He was the president was in his third term. Is that Trump or? I think I've heard of a former president before him who would have loved to have had a third term. Let's see. The journalists were horrible human beings. Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a sensationalism. There was a justification of their existence by covering the war. And then the guy says the gunfire gave him a hard on. Well, doesn't everybody? All right, moving on. Goober. Civil War was a movie to be seen but not enjoyed. I would agree with that. Very apolitical, very impactful. It seemed very accurate with the scattered violence and the collapse of society. Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is at the end, where does society go on from there? The winner is declared. Now what? From Rumble, ADLS24. As an Alex Garland fan, my expectations run high, from Dread to Ex Machina to Annihilation to Men. It's not there. He was on the directing hot streak. Men was the stumble, but this looks like a solid return too. Yeah. Return to form. There we go. You fuck that bitch for $199. I say this movie is meh, wasted $25. All right.
Where are you watching that movie for $25, dog?
Well,
you gotta get that A-list. Save some money, homie.
I know. Yeah, if you're watching, I'm pretty sure that's because it was IMAX.
Yeah.
Okay. Rumble from Joe Kuhn. Saw a great take on Criticless. That this film takes aim at the ambivalent middle. Those who refuse to engage in politics, allow radicals on all sides, and to take things too far. I mean, I think it definitely spotlights the middle. I don't know that it's about the middle. I think it takes us to the extremes as well as to the middle, to the ambivalent middle. Absolutely.
What I do appreciate this film doing is all the discussion that is prompted up. People are very passionate, whether they love or hate it, left, right, middle. Not many films do this. This is cool.
Give me 1 second here. Keep talking.
Yeah. So for those who refuse to engage in politics, allow radicals on all sides to take things too far. But that's kind of on par with some of the history of some of our nations or societies. They've taken it too far, and then they'll turn on their own people. So again, that's the backdrop. To me, it's about these four people. Yeah.
Okay. From Derek Anderson, the DA, for 10. Bro? Yeah. Hey, if you're available on Monday, let me know for verses. Civil War is more of a commentary about the horrors of war, and less about who's right or who's wrong. A lot of commentary about the movie says more about the viewer than it does the film. Yeah, I mean, to me, that's the beauty of this film, because it says a lot about us. I find it intriguing. I find it fascinating to try to understand why people hate it so much. Because as you say, I think it's more about them and what they want. And one of the observations I had was, it felt like the people who hated the movie wanted the movie to tell them what to think, which I found ironic and interesting. Yeah. So yeah. Hey, Derek, if you are available on Monday, let me know.
And he had a really good out of the theater reaction to it as well. My only I want to talk to him is that he was talking about how the first part of it's a little boring, or I don't know what. I say it's all working up to that ending. I think that's why the ending's so satisfying, is that we really get invested in these characters, and they're basically talking to each other in a truck.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
Okay. So let's see. Yeah, and for Derek, hit up Chris too. I think you have his info. Okay, and then let's see, from Paul Michael Peters. There was nothing new in Civil War, but it was well made. We are just more sensitive to these type of movies since they stopped making this intense film 10 years ago. Yeah, but I'll also add the current political climate. The fact that we are so divided, I think, says a lot about the reaction to the film, one way or the other.
But Paul brings up a good point in that these films used to be made all the time, and Salvador was set in the election of Reagan over Carter. I mean, every generation we have like, oh my God, this is nothing new. Just like he says, it's just well made. And I appreciated that these were very flawed people. A little offensive, full of humor at times. It was good stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting how how we relate to flawed people. I don't know. Maybe it's in our nature to feel like we empathize with people who aren't perfect. All right, Bush and Mew Cat for $10. Thank you. Chat, show me Civil War is a good anti-war movie, so I'll see it. I was afraid of promoting that because new U.S. Civil War almost happened. Seattle, Washington, with the Chaz Zone, June 2020. Several people died and nothing changed. Yeah, I mean, there was I think one of the chilling moments was the fact that using military force on citizens.
Yeah, I someone brought that up in the group that we were in yesterday afterwards, minus Chris Gore. There was a few of us that did show up. In that, he was really on point about how we're killing our own people. This could happen. This is happening. He was really like, oh, and I was like, you got to throw that. You almost got to like leave that behind so you can, get into the characters of this movie. Because if you come in with that, then it's just like, it's a little, I don't know. To me, I can't bring that in. I don't know if that makes sense anyways.
Yeah. Well, to me also, it's like, this happens. This is happening in other parts of the world.
Well, it's happening here now in different levels.
Right.
I get it. Right. I mean, listen, I live in LA, I know what's going on and I know who the leadership is. And people are starting to wake up, and there's a lot of people clapping back. And it's very interesting right now. And I just, I'm hopeful that the pendulum is going to swing back to more common sense, sane leaders.
Absolutely. Okay. Two more, and then we're going to end it for today. From You Fuck That Bitch for $4.99. I don't usually go see a movie at the theaters. I spend most of my time writing Stargate and Stargate Star Trek crossover fan fiction. Hey, awesome. Yeah, keep it up. Keep going. Derek Anderson, I'm available on Monday. Okay, yeah, we'll get you on the list.
DA.
Yes. And then finally, thank you to our mod, Lord Thoth. Ms. P. Coffee is in the background helping us out. Thank you. Thank you, Paulie, for joining us today. Let us know how we can, the socials and all that stuff.
No, it's really simple. Just go and subscribe to Latino Slant, our YouTube channel. We cover a lot of we have a diversity of coverage, and when I say that, everything from interviews with creative people to international films that we cover, to some social and political issues as well. I mean, we just covered right now something that is getting a lot of traction on our little channel, the whole gentrification that's happening in Mexican cities right now. Oh, wow. because they're not American tourists, but American expats living there now and actually changing culture there. It's fascinating, and people are heated. So we did a video on that, and that, like, you can imagine the reaction.
Gringos go home.
That's exactly what it is. A trip, bro.
Oh man, because that's happening in Puerto Rico too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
and the government's inviting it, and the people hate it.
It's a necessary evil because of the tourism, right? But then they set up shop, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. So yeah, we cover those. If you've never heard of our channel, we cover those as well as entertainment stuff in the big movies. And so yeah, Latino Slant. Thanks a lot. Thanks to Chris Gore and to Alan Ning and to the Film Threat familia.
Yes. And okay. And then I'm Alan, my pal Al. Let's see, Chris is watching. I'm sure he's seen all your comments in the chat. He's certainly sending me a bunch of notes. And,
wow.
But get well, Chris, and we will see you on Monday. Versus, we're gonna have an all-star panel with I don't know, Paulie, are you joining us on Monday? I'm probably inviting you. I'm literally inviting you right now.
Okay. Well, okay. Let's talk, but
okay.
Verses are always great to check out, guys. Check out Verses.
Yeah. And so we know Derek is on board. I'll be there. Chris will be in the background giving notes. And with that, hey, thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, Versus on Monday. Follow our socials, Film Threat on everything. If you have a film you want to promote or for one to get reviewed, go to the Film Threat website. In fact, go to the Film Threat website for reviews and news for indie films. It was a good show, 9 out of 10. And I'm pretty sure that's my dyslexia acting up. But yeah, 9 out of 10. Very good. And wow.
Chris a tough critic, awesome. Man.
I know.
Yeah.
That's great. And let's see. Hold on. So I got to hide these things because we're about to end. And okay. So with that.
Wait a minute. He said great job. He said great job.
Yeah, great job, everybody. Did I do that? Lord Thoth, Mod, Ms. B Coffee, you, Paulie, everyone on board. Glenn for helping us out with just a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. And again for Chris, who's should be resting right now. And we will see you on Monday. Let's get out of here.